You're looking at a bat that helped win the batting championship in 1984, and a glove that last year won a Golden Glove in the National League. His first. They both belong to the same guy, Tony Gwynn. Tony, I know you've been asked this before. Which one means the most, the batting title or the Gold Glove?
Well, I think the Gold Glove, because when I first signed, I wasn't much of a defensive player, and I've had to work hard at it, and it's just the fruits of hard labor. You know, you go out and you put your time in and day out, and you finally get some respect around the league. And, you know, that's all you can hope for. You know, you don't want to, I don't consider myself a great defensive outfielder, but I've gotten better each year, and I'm starting to get the respect from other players, too.
Tony, what do you think was your weakness as an outfielder when you came up, and what did you do to try to correct that?
I think my major weakness was throwing. I didn't get any carry on any of my throws. Everything was like the lollipop type of throw. I threw it high in the air, and I didn't get anything on it. And when Tommy House was with us back in '82, he taught me the correct way to throw, and I've just been trying to build off of that ever since. And, you know, right now, this time of year, your arm doesn't feel that great, but I know when the season starts, hopefully I'll be where I want to be.
You won the batting title in 1984. The next year, 85, you hit .317, and USA Today said you were a strong candidate for comeback player of the year. Well, last year you didn't win the batting title, but you were a contender for it. You did hit a lot more home runs, more than you ever thought you would, huh?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't really expect to become a power hitter, and for me, 14 home runs is like hitting 30. You know, I realized what pitches I could handle, what pitches I could hit out of the ballpark, and I didn't try to hit home runs, but, you know, every now and then you catch one just right, and it's going to go out of the ballpark. So that's kind of changed my thinking a little bit, because now I know if I get my pitch, I can hit it out of the ballpark. But, you know, I want to try to keep hitting line drives, keep getting on base, keep scoring runs, because I feel like that's the best part of my game, when I get on base and hopefully steal a few more bases this year and score a few more runs.
Tony, there had been some talk at one point about batting you leadoff. But now it appears that Larry Bowa is thinking of you more in the number 3 position in the lineup. And for most of your career, you batted second. What are your thoughts about where you hit in the lineup?
Well, I think it's just a matter of feeling comfortable. You know, the last 2 or 3 years I've hit second and it felt fairly comfortable hitting there. And now I'm going to the number 3 spot, which is, to me, it's an RBI spot. If you're going to be batting third, you've got to be able to drive in runs, hopefully hit a few home runs, and it's kind of scary to tell you the truth, because I haven't really batted there consistently since I've been in the big league. So it's going to be a challenge, and hopefully I can get the job done.
Another familiar face is probably the most popular face of any Padre player in San Diego. Fans, this is the face of the oldest Padre in terms of continuous service with the ball club, Tim Flannery. Boy, it seems funny to say that. I mean, I remember you as a brash rookie in 1979. You thought you had a chance to make the club in spring training.
Yeah, I did. It seems like, I guess it was 9 years ago, I came to camp here in Yuma, and, you know, was built up pretty much as the next star, and I guess, you know, I didn't hit exactly the way they wanted me to right off the bat, so I was sent back for some more farming, but you know, things have worked out well.
Well, they sure have. Certainly the fans like you in San Diego, Tim, and I know your new manager, Larry Bowa, does too. And I want to ask you about him, but first, let's kind of go through the years with Tim Flannery. You played for a lot of managers for the Padres. I'll name the manager, and you tell me the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, the first one you played for in the big league level, Roger Craig.
I think he's a teacher.
Okay. The second one you played for, Jerry Coleman.
Oh, doctor.
All right. Following Jerry, Big Frank Howard.
Frank, Big Frank. Yeah, he was another teacher. I'll say he's a workaholic, too.
Yeah, okay. We're going to see him when we play Seattle. He's a coach now for Dick Williams. And speaking of Dick, he was your next manager.
Demanding. Very demanding. He made me a better player, and that's the bottom line.
Before I ask you about, well, let's go to Steve Boras first.
Steve is out of Frank Howard's mold. He was a workaholic, gentleman. I really respect him a lot.
Now, before I ask you about Larry Bowa, one other manager you played for, not in the big leagues, but in the minors, Doug Rader.
Doug Rader, surprisingly, is a lot like Larry Bowa. I went home, and in fact, I told my wife, I said, this guy reminds me a lot of Doug Rader. Larry Boa does. He's demanding. He's a fundamentalist. He works hard, and if you don't do it right, he goes crazy. He cleans the dugout out, throws helmets, breaks bats, and that's the kind of guy I like playing for.
I was watching him in a workout yesterday, and he stopped the workout. It wasn't performed correctly. It was a bunt play at third base, and he walked out and wanted to know why it didn't work, why different people didn't do different things. Do you kind of like that?
Well, there's no sense doing it if we're not going to do it right, and that's the way he goes about his business. If we're going to be out here and go through bunt plays, and if it takes an hour to do them right, we'll do them in an hour. If it takes 3 hours to do them right, we're going to stay out for the remainder and do them right. But that's how you win ball games, the little things, and he stresses that every day. It's not because you can hit 300 all the time, but that's not going to win a ball game. It's going to be the little things, hitting the cutoff men, knowing what to do with the ball, the bunt plays, the pickoff plays, and I'm all for it.
Tim, how do you see your role this year?
Seems like every year I come to spring training, it's the same thing, and my role probably will stay the same. I'll still probably get in my 130 games, I think, at second base. But if Joey Cora, he's a great, outstanding, talented second baseman, and I believe if it isn't this year, probably next year or the year after, you're going to see a lot of things from Joey Cora. But
the 1986 Padres were, in a word, slow. The 1987 Padres are, in a word, fast.
During those early days of April, wasn't able to carry the Padres through the 86 season. No matter how hard they tried, too often it wasn't quite enough. The missed opportunities began to ruffle even the coolest of players. As frustration quieted the Padres' spirit, rumblings were being heard throughout the Las Vegas desert. There, Larry Robert Boa, without any managerial experience, was busy changing the fortunes of the Las Vegas Stars. With an aggressive and demanding style molded from 16 years of Major League service, Larry Boa guided the Stars to their first ever Pacific Coast League championship. Down 2-1, the Stars came back to win the next two and the division playoffs, and repeated the same feat in the finals. So impressed were the Padres with his ability to mold a winner, on October 28, 1986, at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium, the Padres announced a change in leadership on the field.
I felt that in the best interest of an organization that a change was necessary. And I recommended Larry Boa be our manager for 1987. Larry is a highly competitive individual, not only as a player, and I think this trait will carry him well as a manager.
I'm not going to come in here and tell everybody we're going to win X amount of games, because this game of baseball, I played it too long, and too many weird things can happen. But I will say this, we will give 100%, or the players that don't want to give 100% just won't play. It's as simple as that. Yeah, it's a great honor to be here. As a player, I love playing here, and as a manager, hopefully, it's going to be the same results. Don't expect me not to get thrown out any games. Don't expect me to be a choir boy, because I've never done that. I'm very competitive.
That competitive spring of 1987 approaches, Larry Boa faces perhaps his biggest challenge in baseball. The task, returning the San Diego Padres to championship form.